Rolling. Those are your new shades you got from Meatstock?
They are. I can't remember the brand, though. Can you?
Mm-mm.
I wrote about them in my newsletter, but I forgot the brand name, so I feel bad for not including that.
But did you get any paperwork or?
Yeah, it's in the boost stuff,
Okay.
but I haven't dug through and find it. But I like them.
Yeah.
I think they were only $45. I traded bricks for them.
Did a little product swap.
Yeah, a little product swap. But
Speaking of Meatstock, we haven't chatted about it yet.
Meatstock, let's talk about it. Let's chat about it.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was an outdoor. No, it wasn't outdoor. It was a retreat weekend.
Yes. I think it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday, Friday being the retreat, of which we were not a part of.
Yep.
And then we had the conference itself Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
So,
but the people that stayed for the retreat were there staying in like shared cabins that were on the same property. Mm-hmm. And they all kind of bunked together, cooked together, hung out together. Some of them did workouts, exercise together. And then the conference portion of it was Saturday, Sunday, like you just said. And all those same people were either speakers or guests.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
I think it was intended to be outdoors originally, but then it was raining the whole weekend. So they had a pretty nice little indoor venue set up. Super cool environment. Like you were right there in the Smoky Mountains. I mean, lots of windows in the venue. So it's just really cool views. We had a booth for Keto Brick, and I was a speaker on a metabolic panel on Sunday. And that was good. I had nothing but positive things to say about it. I mean, I think some of the communication was a little lackluster. I think there was a couple issues with some of the food, but that didn't really impact you and I because we're both kind of dieting down a little bit with our macros, so we weren't going to eat the food anyways. Yep. But I feel like some people were a little frustrated with that, but it's a lot of work when you're the organizer, the promoter, and you're wearing all the different hats. So, like, I think Scott did awesome. I think it was great. I think I'm excited about next year's retreat, you know?
Yeah, so it's going to be at a different venue. I think there was a little bit of, turbulence or a little bit of, it was tricky. The venue was a little bit tricky. You're just getting vehicles in and out because it was at the top of a hill. There wasn't really anywhere to park. Parking was at the base of the hill. It was in like the Smoky Mountains, like you said. So it's kind of tricky, but once everybody was in there and situated for the day, it was awesome. And the cool thing about this one was presentations weren't in a separate room. Mm-hmm. So us as vendors around the perimeter of the venue inside, we got to see and hear and watch all of the presentations. And then in between, when there was time, all the attendees would get up and they'd mingle with us, the vendors. We were positioned right next to Carnivore Bar, which you're good friends with. We're good friends with, business to business. And so we kind of intermingled with each other. We have the same kind of target demographic as far as customer base goes. So everybody was kind of huddled in that corner. We had a really popular corner because we were giving out samples.
Yeah, we were giving out samples. They were giving out samples. And because of the issues with the food, like people were hungry, so they just kept coming to us. And I think it was definitely our target demographic of people for sure. I mean, there was, people that were hardcore strict carnivore, but we got the carnivore bricks now, so we got that, box checked. But a lot of people just trying to get healthier, improve their metabolic health, and adopt this way of eating. And I feel like we were in the right spot at the right time for sure. Yeah, like you said, we weren't even going to sell the bricks there. We just brought them to sample. But we gave out a ton of samples. Tons. Man. They were stocking up.
Yep.
Shawn Baker was chowing down on them like crazy. He came over, probably ate 2 or 3 bricks worth of samples. He did sprints. He like led a bunch of people. I think 20 or 30 people went early, and he did sprints with them that morning. And then when the seminar started, he was like, "All right, I'm hungry." So he just came over and was crashing the bricks. So that was pretty good.
Yep. It was a good event. I think that definitely want to prioritize trying to get to that one again, on a yearly basis if it keeps going, because we just had a super good interaction. The connections we made were people that are that value the ingredients. They don't just think of us as a snack bar. It's like a legit nutrition.
Yeah, option. And all the other vendors were super cool, super nice. There was that. You remember that salt company?
She was right next to us. I can't remember the name, but I did buy some salt samples or some little shakers.
The bomb, man. I got that sample pack. And I've just been eating that every night, and that salt is delicious.
I know that buttered salt or that salty butter, whatever she called it.
I didn't try that one.
Super good.
But just the standard flake one was really good. And then last night I put a bunch of the dill pickle salt on my eggs, and that was really good. So yeah, I'm a salt fan for sure.
Yeah, we were in prep, or we were pretty dialed in nutrition wise, and most of the time we are when we travel.
Yeah.
So one of the benefits is staying at an Airbnb with a full-blown kitchen, dishwasher, everything that we needed to make food.
Bears. That's how you guys saw a bear?
At the Airbnb?
Yeah.
Really?
So the next day after you had left, or that morning that you had left super early, I woke up and went to the gym, and I was leaving probably at 6 o'clock in the morning or so to go work out. And I was driving right as you turn off onto the road.
Yep.
I saw this big black thing like running 50 yards in front of me. And then I slowed down, and it was sure enough a big old black bear. And then he went off the road, so I stopped the truck, rolled the window down. I was just watching him, and he barreled down the hill and then up the next hill. I'm not very good at gauging bear size because I don't have bear really in Arkansas that much, but he had to have been at least 600 or 800 pounds.
Really?
He was a pretty big size.
Well, that one on the
bear.
wall is like I think he was like 400 or 500 or something like that.
It was a big old, I mean, he's eating all that, garbage from people and stuff. So like he's just big old fat black bear.
He's in a caloric surplus.
He's in a caloric surplus for sure. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then that Sunday was Rigel's birthday. So we did like Crystal made keto cake and keto ice cream using your Ninja. And keto cinnamon rolls, which we worked into your macros.
Those are so good.
And the next day, we decided to stay an extra day and like treat him to a birthday celebration because I was at the conference the whole day during his actual birthday. And he's big into like excavators and tractors and stuff. And there's this, I'd never seen this before, but there's this, I think it was called Diggin' Zone or Diggin' Play or something like that. But it's like this theme park. And they bought all of this like Caterpillar and John Deere commercial equipment, like legit equipment. They put governors on them and limit their range of motion. And they've got like all of these little mini X's and, tractors and stuff, zero turn mowers, steam rollers, skid steers, all this stuff that they let the kids just operate.
Wow.
And I was thinking about it. I'm like, this is a pretty good business model because if you were to rent a piece of equipment like that, it's probably going to be $250 a day or something. But then you're like beating the hell out of it, working with it, and then you return it. For that little theme park, I think for the three of us, so Crystal, Rigel, and myself, it was like $237 or something like that. And obviously we're not going to damage it at all. Like everything's got like a roll cage around it. Everything's governed. Everything's like perfectly mint condition because there's no wear and tear. And I'm like, I bet they're doing pretty well.
I bet so. I mean, they probably have some maintenance and stuff, ongoing upkeep, but yeah, no one's really beating on it.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I've never seen one of those before.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was all about it. Rigel was definitely in his element on that day. So
yeah,
we filmed it all. So we'll have to publish that vlog at some point. But it was good.
Speaking of Meatstock, Ellen and I had quite the fun time getting there.
Oh yeah, talk about your transit.
So Ellen and I flew separate. Then Robert, Crystal, and Rigel, they drove. Ellen and I were just going to fly in Friday. And we were supposed to depart from XNA here in Northwest Arkansas, fly into Atlanta. We had it was roughly like an hour layover. And it was, it's kind of tight when you think about an hour. But anyways, we had an hour layover in Atlanta, and then we were going to fly into Tennessee.
Yeah.
Which,
Knoxville. It was like an hour from where we were.
Yeah. And the second flight was only supposed to be like 58 minutes or 52 minutes or something like that. And we're like, okay, cool. This could be a quick day. Anyways, everything, we got to the airport here, XNA, everything delayed. All the airlines, all the airports.
Weather related.
Countrywide. Like some system somewhere threw a wrench into the whole works, and then it just, all the dominoes tipped over in the wrong direction. So everybody's stuff was delayed. Everyone was just upset. The airport was a chaos. Everyone just having a long day already in the morning. So we're like, shoot, all right, we got to keep an eye on this. So as we're sitting there waiting, our flight gets delayed. And we're like, okay, all right. We're looking at our window. Our layover just got shorter. Then it gets delayed again. Layover just got shorter. We're like, shoot, we're not going to make it. Anyways, we're supposed to depart from XNA at, whatever time, and the plane isn't even here yet. So we're definitely not going to be on time. Anyways, we fast forward to getting out onto the runway. Some other delay popped up. So we're sitting on the runway waiting, and we're like, there's no way this is going to happen. So then I think this is when we messaged you guys or called you guys. And
yeah,
we're like,
so we
just
proactively booked a rental car.
So we had no other flights. There were no other flights into Tennessee airport where we needed to get. And we could get there the next day, but then we would miss the conference. Like it was literally the next morning. We were going to have to be up at 3, 4 o'clock the next morning. And so that wasn't going to pan out. So we're trying to find other flights, other airports, other methods to get to the Airbnb. So we decided to have you guys proactively book a rental car. And just in case we didn't make the flight, we would have a rental car and we could just drive. It was, drivable. So we
4.5 hour drive.
4.5 hours. Yeah. So we flew into Atlanta and we got into Atlanta super fast. He made up a lot of time. I was not thinking he was the pilot was going to make up that much time in the air. I don't know how they did. They made up like 40 minutes, but I think they overestimated our arrival time just because it includes taxiing and all that kind of stuff. So we ended up landing, and as soon as our wheels touched down and we started getting close to the gate, I said, Ellen, stand up. We gotta go, So we stood up and we bolted to the front. Like we budged in front of, we were line jumping first class, and there were some pissed off people. And I said, I'm sorry, we have like 12 minutes to get, and everyone's like, so do we. So everyone was in the same exact situation. Anyways, we got off. Well, when we were boarding, one of us, I think, it was Ellen's bag went underneath because it was a larger roller bag, and they don't always fit in the overhead space. So they orange ticket it, and you stick it at the end of the jet bridge, and they stick it underneath. But then when you deplane, you have to hang out right there for all the bags to be brought back up to the jet bridge. Well, I had mine in the overhead compartment, so I grabbed mine and I sprinted to the next gate. And I got to the next gate. Literally, it was 120 seconds, 2 minutes before they were shutting the door. And the lady at the counter was calling out all the standby passengers, like, all right, is there a John Johnson here? Okay, we've got a seat for you. I'm like, shit, this is not going to pan. This is not good. So I went to the counter and I'm like, hey, we just landed. Greg Mahler's my name. We had tickets on this flight. She's like, okay, is it just you or do you have anybody else? I'm like, well, there's one more coming. She's like, oh shoot, I only have one seat. I'm like, shoot. We literally just missed it. And even if both bags would have been able to be grabbed, if they were both in the overhead, we wouldn't have made it because she gave away one of our 2 seats.
So you should have just taken that and then had her drive.
I know, see you later, Ellen.
I'm joking.
So I'm like, all right, we have a backup plan. Let's go leverage the backup plan. So we went down to the counter, to the rental area, at the airport, and all the lines were 20, 30, 40, 50 people long because the same thing was happening to everybody else. And people would just come up to the counter without even getting in line. They'd just be like, hey, you got any cars? And they'd be like, no, sorry, we're totally booked. And they'd go to the next one. Hey, do you have any vehicles? So people that didn't have a backup plan were screwed. We had a backup plan because you guys booked us one. Mm-hmm. So then we waited in line at this rental counter. That was probably 45 minutes just to wait in line. We got up there. They couldn't find a car for us. We just don't have anything for you guys. You guys booked whatever class or style of vehicle. And we don't have anything. Do you want an SUV? And I'm like, oh, I really don't want to drive an SUV that I'm not comfortable with for 4.5 hours through the Smoky Mountains
in the
pitch
rain.
Black, no phone service. I'm like, do you have a sedan, something that's more comfortable that I would be down for? She's like, okay, we'll just wait. So she was like, I'm going to call down to the garage. So she calls down to the garage on her radio, and they're like, okay, we're going to try to find you whatever. Couldn't find it. She's like, you sure you guys don't want an SUV? No. If you guys have one, we'd like to take it. Okay, we'll keep looking. So then she's like, okay, you guys stand to the side. So now we're waiting, and somebody else comes up, and she starts helping them. Then the radio people get back to us. And they're like, all right, we found one. She's like, okay, got you guys a brand new, very low miles, Cadillac, whatever. I'm like, all right, this would be cool. And we walk out, and we get it, and it's freaking SUV. It's like a crossover mini SUV, which is what we told her we didn't necessarily want, but whatever. So now we hop on this thing. We map it. It's 4.5 hours. An hour and a half of that was this crazy zigzagging switchback up and down, super steep, pitch black, towering pines, cliff that you couldn't see, no phone service through the Smoky Mountains. I'm this is just crazy. So needless to say, fast forward to the end of the story. We made it at, what time was it? 12:30, quarter to 1. It was almost 1 a.m. We went straight to bed. We got up the next morning and we were ready to rock. So
yeah,
it was quite the adventure getting there.
It was an adventure getting back too.
The way back was not bad. We had to get up what time did we get up? 1?
Yeah, y'all got up at 1 to drive back and get on that first flight.
Yeah.
But then that night, Monday night, so we had stayed that extra day for Rigel, and then you got back here, I think 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
Yeah, 10, 11, somewhere in there.
So we're all doing our normal thing, and then that evening, Monday evening, after we get back from the digging zone thing, I start getting all these text messages from friends and family asking if I'm okay. And I'm like, what is going on? And everybody's like messaging, you okay? I'm like, yeah, we're at a conference in Tennessee. What's up? And they're like, well, I just heard about the tornado.
Oh.
And I'm like, tornado? And then all of a sudden I start looking at the news. I don't ever watch the weather or anything. We're at here, the compound.
Mm-hmm. In Lincoln.
Like massive tornado warnings. 3 tornadoes, one in Lincoln, one in Prairie Grove, and one in Cane Hill.
I think there might have even been a 4th one now.
In like Fayetteville or something like that. There's 3 or 4 tornadoes.
There was 4 that came right through this stretch.
Yeah. So I'm starting to see all these like Facebook messages of people, tornadoes touched down, there's damage here, a roof's missing. So I start messaging all of y'all, my crew, and trying to hear what's going on. And everybody's like, okay, we're good. And then Bryson, who was staying at my house watching our dog Diesel, he lost power, so he wasn't messaging me back. He finally got on satellite and was able to tell Crystal that he's okay, but there's no power. Chip in Oklahoma, he didn't have power, and he's terrible with Slack anyway, so I didn't expect to get a call from him. But then Ellen, who also lives in Oklahoma, said her power was out. So I'm okay, Chip's probably fine. He just didn't have power. And then, okay, so my crew's good. My building is standing. My house is standing. It just doesn't have power. So we're good there. And then we had like tallow drums heating for this week's production. And Ralph offered to come up here and make sure the building was fine. And it didn't lose power, so the building was all good. And then I'm okay, what else do I need to worry about? I got 3 chest freezers full of meat at my house, like my lamb, my elk, my venison, a bunch of, grass-finished beef. And I'm like, man, I got 3 massive chest freezers plumb full of meat, all of Diesel's food. I'm like, what are we going to do about that? I'm looking it up. So, okay, if it's fully stocked, which it was, you should be able to make it 48 hours without it going bad. I'm okay.
Yeah, if you don't open the doors,
closed.
right?
Yeah, as long as it stays closed. So I'm okay. We're driving back the next day. It'll be a 2-day drive for us with Rigel. So we're cutting it close, but we'll see what's up. But we didn't know if the power's going to come back on or not. So I'm constantly messaging y'all, and power's still out. So I stopped by Tractor Supply on the way in, pick up this massive generator, throw it in the back of the truck, and I'm driving. Because I'm like, if I buy a generator in Fayetteville, they're all going to be sold out because everybody else's power's out.
Right.
So I wanted to get one while I was still in Tennessee. Picked up a generator to hook the freezers into, and then 9 minutes before I got home, I got an alert that my power went back on. So now I've got this backup generator, which is probably a good thing to have as a backup. But yeah, my meat, it's all good. It was all frozen, so total chaos.
It was total chaos. That was probably that's the scariest I've been in a while.
With
and
tornadoes?
That's the most intense weather I've been exposed to since I moved here. There were some decent storms and thunderstorms and tornado warnings last year, but there was like I was in my safe spot with my 2 dogs.
Yeah.
Like had a backpack full of stuff, flashlights, all this stuff. And I was live streaming some of the meteorologists in the area because there's a lot of them that go live when there's like crazy weather like that. So you can see where things are tracking. And they're like, all right, Lincoln, if you're in Lincoln, get in your safe spot. We've got a rotation, da-da-da-da. And they were like calling it all out. And I'm like, shit, this thing's like tracking. Because I live in Farmington, and that's not too far from Lincoln. It's only a 15, 20-minute drive. So they were all tracking up towards me. So Lincoln, they're like, get in your safe spot. Then next up is Prairie Grove. They had video footage and photos of tornado damage and actual like tornado chasers live streaming a tornado coming through Prairie Grove. And then my power went out, my Wi-Fi shut off. I couldn't stream anything, and it got so loud that I was like, okay, this is no something's going to happen right now. And it just got super quiet.
I mean, there was like I drove around Lincoln right by our building. I mean, there's like trees down,
there's
roofs
crazies.
torn off.
Yeah.
I mean, like it touched down, it was legit.
Yeah.
And then so that happened on Monday night. On Tuesday night, we didn't get back till Wednesday, Crystal, Rigel, and I. So we're driving, and on Tuesday night, we're in Tennessee still, and we drive right into a tornado warning zone. And there's like, she pulls up the radar, and there's like 10 tornadoes all around us, and they're all tracking the highway that we're on. And we're looking at the cloud cover, and there's like funnel clouds forming. Everything's getting super dark. So we go to our Airbnb, and we stayed at an RV, like it was an Airbnb.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But it was an RV. So it's okay. There's obviously no safe spot in here. So the RV hosts, they got their house right next to the camper. So they let us come inside their house, and we were watching the news and everything on their TV. And then after it died down, we went back out to the RV. But like, Yeah, it was just total chaos, storm-wise, the whole time. So, but we're all back safe and sound, and all is well.
Knock on wood.
So,
until next time.
All is good.
Now we're all in like a flood. There's crazy flooding going on everywhere now.
Now it's like my whole yard's underwater right now. So, raining nonstop. But I'll take the rain over the tornadoes, I reckon. Yep. But I do think, in light of all this, that big hole in the ground that I didn't know what to do with from that pump house, I think I'm going to make a storm shelter there for sure.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That way, that's like, I'll just weld up a bunch of, 1/4-inch plate steel and have, 3 feet of it underground and the rest covered, and it'll all be steel. Yeah. And that'll be our family's little safe spot, I guess.
That's a good idea. So
yep. That's the plan.
You had a posing seminar on Saturday. Right?
Posing seminar on Saturday, yeah. So we did it at Ozark Iron Gym, which is the host gym for the competition where we'll do the tanning as well. But yeah, Joe Wilson and I, Joe's also a promoter in ANBF. He's got a show coming up next month in June, and then TJ is a promoter in Little Rock. He's got a show coming up in July. Both of them are pro in ANBF. What is that?
IPE Pro.
Yeah, IPE.
But I mean, they're all going to be merging into WNBF.
Yeah, they're all merging into WNBF. Yep. So they came up. And Joe's been doing several posing seminars at various gyms, and I've, tagged along with them on several and kind of helped with the bodybuilding side.
And TJ's been at some of them as well.
Yeah, TJ has as well. So I hosted one, and then they both came and assisted with that. But it was good. It wasn't very big because it was Memorial Day weekend, holiday weekend. A lot of people were out of town. But we had pretty good turnout there, and, we had I had a slideshow for the first hour, and the second hour was like hands-on interactive posing, so everybody there kind of broke into their respective, divisions. And then we just worked on getting posing polished up. So
I saw some clips. Looked pretty cool.
It was good.
TJ has some clips, and one of the other competitors, he's been kind of tagging us and posting some clips and stuff too. So
yeah, one of the guys there, Noah, he was the one that registered for my show. He's got awesome shape, man. He's got big old quad development.
He's gonna do well. He's got huge legs.
Huge legs. He's got really good. I mean, his posing's pretty dialed, and he just needs to get leaner. Like he's got the shape. He's got the symmetry. I'm like, look, man, if you just get leaner, you're going to bring your A game, but you got to get leaner.
And he's young.
He's young.
But he's got a lot of, I mean, we have like 16, 17 weeks already. I mean, he's got some time.
He's got time. Yeah. But yeah, he's got to get sharper. But I'm excited for him because he looks great. And I think he had like a pretty impressive transformation. Like he lost a whole bunch of weight, I believe, because I think I saw like a before picture. So that's what's cool. Like for me, I feel pretty young in the sport still. I mean, I'm 33, but it's like, when you get people that are early 20s that are wanting to compete and they're like, hot and heavy into it, they just want to like do everything right, and they're getting so much conflicting information online. For me to be able to help them and pay it forward is super fulfilling, because I remember when I was 20 years old and gung-ho on bodybuilding, but didn't have, there was a guy at my gym that I trained at, and he was a pro, and his name was Shawn Bootwell, and he was always super helpful. He wasn't very talkative, but if I ever had questions, he'd help me. But I just want to be like that, role model for people to just do it right as opposed to not. So it's cool to be able to have the opportunity to pay it forward.
Yeah, and be approachable. Yeah, because there's a lot of big dudes or guys that know a lot, but they're not somebody that you'd reach out to.
Yeah,
if you're.
There was a big dude in the gym this morning.
Yeah, that guy.
I never seen him before.
I don't know if he's on the natty spectrum or not, but
I would not guess so.
He was a big dude,
but he was colossal.
Yeah. He was actually posing in that small mirror before you got there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had like posing trunks, and like he
must be.
He's dialing in for a show. Yeah,
but he's not. He's still. I mean, he's not super lean yet, so he's got a ways to go.
He's a huge guy,
but he's a big old dude.
Yep. Also, over the weekend, Cake Pop is back.
Yeah, Carnivore Cake Pop is back.
Yep.
And that was one of the popular ones at Meatstock, sample-wise. People were all about that one. Primal Fudge and Cake Pop were the first to go.
Carnivore Cake Pop is our lowest carb.
Highest protein.
3 grams of total carbs. No fiber, no sugar. And that's just trace carbs from the protein.
Yeah.
The protein is a primal protein blend. So there's an organ blend in there. There's bone, there's marrow, there's collagen.
Heart, liver, pancreas, spleen, all that jazz.
No whey, no allergens, grass-fed, grass-finished beef tallow, and it's like the cleanest, most carnivore-ish brick ever.
Yeah.
Highest protein, lowest carb.
Yeah. So that one went back on the site on the 25th, so this past Sunday.
Yep.
And giving people the behind-the-scenes scoop on this work podcast, but like we literally have a restock coming every single week for the foreseeable future. Like the next 5 or 6 weeks for sure is going to be a restock every single weekend. And
we're going to start. The big plan is to get all the tallow flavors back in stock because you guys love them.
Yeah. Well, this weekend, which will be the 1st of June, I guess, we'll be restocking tallow cookie dough.
Yep.
And that was the one that sold out in 24 minutes when we launched it the first time.
Because that was a small batch.
Yeah. So we're making more this go around. We made a small batch last weekend. We're making 2 batches this week, 2 big batches this week. So we'll have a pretty good inventory number of that going up on the 1st at noon Central. So that'll be good. So yeah, lots of exciting things in the Keto Brick production side. We've also got some pretty cool stuff in the works with the apparel side. And we keep talking about that, teasing it, but she sent that updated website preview link the other day, and the site's looking legit.
It looks awesome.
Man. I'm excited about that.
That is going to be nice.
And I talked to Greg the other day, the other Greg, multiple Gregs in my life, for different sample blanks, and I've got a few sample blanks I think picked out, but yeah, I'm excited to really hit that hard and heavy, so it'll be good.
That's going to be awesome.
It'll be good. What else is worth noting, man? Anything else new and exciting?
Nothing. We're going to do a cookout this Friday.
We got a crew cookout. Yep. Crystal's birthday is on June 2nd.
Oh, yes.
And she's got a baby shower this Saturday. So my folks are going to come up on Friday. We're going to have a crew cookout on Friday as well, so we'll do that. Macro-friendly crew cookout. And then Saturday, she'll have that baby shower. And I think my dad and I are going to run over to Chip's house and yank that tree that fell on his house from the tornado. So get that knocked out. And then before long, we'll be having another baby running around.
Yeah.
So she's looking pretty prego right now. She's excited to... she's excited for the next chapter.
She's ready, isn't she?
Yeah, she is ready. She loves being pregnant, but she also loves having her own body,
Are you guys going to shoot for a third?
I don't know. We'll see how it goes after the second. We've always said 2 or 3, and then we'll call our shots on the third based off of how we do it the second.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Rigel alone, man, he keeps my hands full. Like, Crystal did a concealed carry class yesterday, and she was there from 8 until 5, so all day. She didn't get back home until 6. And I had Rigel the whole day, so we went to Bass Pro Shop. I got him a little kid fishing pole.
Cool.
Because I think we're going to take him fishing for Father's Day, so we'll just go fishing or something. But yeah, I had him all day, and it was great. But man, if he does not take his nap, it's he's fit to be tied for sure. It's brutal. It's brutal.
They say you never know when their last nap is coming. Like, you just one day, it's like that's the last time you're going to take a nap.
With everything, with naps, with little mannerisms he has, with the way he says things. Like he used to say, motorcycle used to be me and ma, which is what he meant for motorcycle, me and ma. And then he changed to, and it just keeps changing every like 4 or 5 months. And it's like so cute when he says it wrong, but then it's like one day he's going to say it wrong. That'll be the last time he says it.
Exactly. Caitlin's daughter always says, the color yellow, she says yayo.
Yayo.
So we always try to get her to say yellow.
Yeah.
Like, what color is that? What color is that? What color? Because it's so cute when she says yayo. It's yayo. And pretty soon she's just going to be like, it's yellow. And we're like, aw.
Yeah, it's going to be over. That's why I like vlogging, stuff like this. Like, I like that we vlogged his birthday. Because it's just like photo album, man. Like, it's just being able to, like, I'll be able to show him that video when he's 27 years old and be like, remember when you used to play on these little bitty excavators and it was the best thing in the world. So
it's so easy to capture all the stuff these days. Like, generations ago, you'd have to send your film in, get it developed, and then put it in an album. Now you can take unlimited number of videos and photos and just shoot them to the cloud and pull them up anytime. So
it's cool. Real quick to end out this podcast, you woke up at your lightest weight, leanest body fat. Your calories are getting pretty low. Hunger's getting pretty high.
We're between 1,900 and 2,000 calories.
Yeah. And your first show is
six and a half weeks.
6.5 weeks.
6 weeks to peak week.
Yeah. And you got your prep is going to be long because you got several shows, and the last one's potentially as late as November. So yeah, that's exciting to see you getting more leaner and dialed in. And then I woke up at a new low today too at 179. And I'm not even in a prep right now, but I can tell that I'm getting leaner. But I got the next experiment coming. So I'm excited about that. It's not going to be the sugar diet experiment. I'm not going to do that one. But I've got one that I think will raise some eyebrows for sure. So it'll be good.
But first, we got to get blood work.
So
we're gonna do DEXAs, blood work. I'd like to do a VO2 max just because I've never done a VO2.
And I want to use his. He's got that resting metabolic rate calculator as well to see what your true metabolic rate is at rest. So you can actually know what your baseline caloric intake is from a metabolic standpoint. So I'm excited about that. Let's try and get that scheduled this week, maybe. Yeah.
If we don't do it this week, we can at least maybe line it up for next week.
Yeah. Let's carve out a date on the calendar to do it, and we'll just do it all in one fell swoop. Yeah. So that'll be good.
Sounds good.
All right, Gregorone, that's a wrap, man.
Adios.
Until next time, ta-ta for now.